Marcus was a young engineer working on a small project on a barren frontier world. The sun beat down on the rocky land as he walked along a dusty trail, lost in his thoughts about a new device he was building. He did not know that danger was waiting for him around the next bend. As he reached a narrow pass between two large rock formations, a sudden sound made him stop in his tracks. Heavy footsteps echoed behind him, and Marcus's heart began to race. Out of the shimmering heat, a group of rough-looking mercenaries emerged. They wore tattered uniforms and carried crude weapons. Their eyes were cold, and they moved with a silent, menacing purpose. Marcus tried to run, but the uneven ground made it hard for him to move quickly. The mercenaries closed in, and fear gripped him. He realized that he was no match for these dangerous men. Just as they were about to surround him, a bright light cut through the haze of dust and heat. From the light, a figure appeared. It was Captain Zilra, a brave and skilled alien commander. She moved with the calm confidence of someone who had seen many battles. Her long, silver hair flowed behind her, and her deep, clear eyes shone with determination. Wearing a sleek uniform that marked her as a leader, Zilra stepped forward without hesitation. The mercenaries paused when they saw her. Zilra raised her hand and spoke in a firm but gentle voice that carried across the quiet land. Her words were few, but they were strong enough to stop the attackers in their tracks. In one swift motion, she drew her energy weapon and fired a series of non-lethal shots. The bolts hit the ground near the mercenaries, sending a clear message that resistance was futile. One by one, the attackers dropped their weapons and ran away, leaving Marcus standing alone on the rocky path. Marcus stood still for a moment, his heart pounding in his chest. He could hardly believe what had just happened. The man who had almost been captured was now safe, thanks to this unexpected stranger. Captain Zilra walked toward him with a kind look in her eyes. She extended a hand to help him up from the dusty ground. "You're safe now," she said simply. Her words, spoken in basic, clear English, were like a warm blanket on a cold day. Marcus felt a sense of relief wash over him. He looked at Zilra with gratitude and wonder. He had never seen anyone so calm and brave in the face of danger. As the two began to walk away from the place where the mercenaries had attacked, Marcus realized that this was not just a random act of heroism. There was a quiet strength in Zilra, and he felt a strange connection forming between them. On that harsh, empty world, their paths had crossed in a way that would change both of their lives. From that moment on, they would face the unknown together, their destinies forever linked by this day of unexpected rescue. Marcus slowly began to recover after the frightening attack. Captain Zilra led him away from the dangerous land to a safe, hidden refuge. The outpost was built into a rocky hillside, far from the harsh desert where he had been attacked. It was a small building made of strong metal and simple materials. Inside, the cool air and gentle light brought a welcome relief from the heat and dust outside. In this quiet shelter, Marcus noticed many things that were new to him. The walls had strange symbols and soft, glowing panels. These marks showed the history of Zilra's people, a history filled with honor and duty. Zilra herself moved about with calm determination. She helped her people care for those in need. When Marcus was brought into the main room, kind aliens and a few human helpers worked quickly to clean his wounds and give him medicine. Marcus sat on a plain metal chair while Zilra sat next to him. Her soft, clear voice filled the small space as she explained the way her people lived. "We serve to protect those who cannot protect themselves," she said in simple English. Marcus listened carefully. He realized that even though she came from a world so different from his, her heart was filled with the same courage and kindness that many humans admired. Over the next few days, Marcus began to regain his strength. Every morning, Zilra visited him with warm soup and fresh fruit. They spent quiet moments talking about simple things. Marcus asked many questions about her life and her people. Zilra explained how her kind had traveled many galaxies and had always chosen to help those in need. She told him about battles fought not for power, but for honor and the protection of life. Her words were easy to understand, and they filled Marcus with a new sense of hope. While Marcus rested, he thought about the events that had led him here. The fear he felt when the mercenaries attacked still lingered, but it was slowly replaced by gratitude. He began to see that his rescue was not just a lucky break. It was a clear sign that his life was about to change. The bravery and calm of Captain Zailra had opened his eyes to a world beyond his own. He started to believe that honor and kindness could be found even in the most unexpected places. In the evenings, Marcus would sit by a small window and watch the stars shine in the dark sky. The quiet beauty of the night reminded him that there was more to life than fear and loneliness. With each passing day, he felt a growing bond with Zailra. Their paths had crossed in a moment of danger, and now, in safety and quiet reflection, he felt that connection deepen. He realized that together, they might face many challenges ahead, but he was no longer alone. In this hidden refuge, surrounded by new friends and guided by a brave captain, Marcus began a journey not only to heal his body, but also to awaken his heart to a new purpose. Marcus felt his strength return in the quiet refuge, but his mind began to stir with new questions. Even as he healed, he could not ignore the strange feeling that his rescue had been part of a larger plan. The hidden outpost was a safe place, but it held many secrets that slowly came to light. One cool morning, Captain Zailra invited Marcus to a small meeting room. The room was simple, with plain walls and soft, glowing panels that showed old maps and symbols. Zailra sat down across from him and spoke in a calm, clear voice. "Marcus," she said, "the men who attacked you were not ordinary thieves. They are part of a secret group that has searched for a very special device for a long time." Marcus listened, feeling both confused and curious. "A device?" he asked. Zailra nodded. "Yes. The gadget you carry with you, the one you thought was just a simple tool, is much more important. It is a key to an ancient technology that can change the fate of many worlds." Her words made Marcus's heart beat faster. He had worked on the gadget for a small project, never imagining that it held great power. Zailra explained that long ago, a mighty civilization built wonders that could help or hurt entire planets. The secret group, with its dangerous leaders, wanted to use that power for harm. "Your rescue was not by chance," she said gently. "I had to save you so that the secret of the device would be kept safe." In the days that followed, Marcus and Zailra worked together to learn more about the device. They studied old maps and read simple texts that told of the ancient civilization. Late at night, by the light of a soft panel, Marcus pored over blueprints and records. Zailra often joined him, her eyes full of quiet determination, as she recalled stories of her people. Her people had long fought to protect dangerous knowledge and to keep it from those who would misuse it. Every new piece of information made Marcus feel that his life was now part of a larger story. The maps pointed to a hidden location on a forgotten planet, deep in an abandoned city. Zailra warned him that the journey would be risky. "But if we do not act," she said, "many lives could be lost to the power of this ancient technology." Marcus felt both fear and resolve. His simple work as an engineer had led him to this moment, a moment where his knowledge and his courage were needed to protect more than just himself. The device was a symbol of hope, and its secrets had to be guarded at all costs. In that safe refuge, under the soft glow of alien dawn, Marcus understood that the danger was real and the enemy was still near. Yet, with every secret shared by Zailra, his fear turned into a strong will to fight for what was right. Together, they prepared for the hard journey ahead, knowing that the path they walked was filled with shadows and secrets. Their journey had only just begun, and their united strength would guide them through the coming challenges. Marcus and Captain Zailra prepared to leave the safe refuge behind. Their next step was to travel through the stars and uncover the secrets of the ancient device. They both knew that the journey ahead would be dangerous, but their determination was stronger than their fear. Every decision they made could change the fate of many worlds, and they were ready to face the unknown. In the early light of an alien morning, the pair walked toward a modest starship waiting on the landing pad. The ship was a blend of human ingenuity and alien craftsmanship. Its exterior was rugged yet simple, built to withstand the harsh conditions of space travel. Inside, the ship was calm and quiet. Glowing panels lit up the control room, and a soft hum filled the corridors. A small crew, made up of friendly beings from different worlds, gathered to help them on their quest. Marcus felt both excitement and nervousness as he stepped aboard. Looking out the window, he saw their home planet shrink into a small blue dot, replaced by an ocean of glittering stars. Zalora stood beside him, her calm presence reassuring him. "Every star holds a secret," she said in a soft voice. "Our journey is just beginning, and there is much we must learn." Her simple words filled him with hope and a sense of purpose. As the ship lifted off, the safe refuge quickly became a memory. The vessel soared into the vast, mysterious expanse of space. The crew worked together to keep the ship on course. Marcus helped the engineers with small repairs, using his clear and practical ideas to fix issues with the navigation system. His simple methods earned praise from even the most experienced alien technicians. Meanwhile, Zalora held short meetings with the crew, explaining their mission in plain language. Her stories of ancient battles and lost worlds inspired everyone, and a strong feeling of unity began to grow among the travelers. During quiet evenings, when the hum of the engine was the only sound, Marcus and Zalora found a moment to talk. They sat together under the soft light of the ship's control panels. Marcus spoke of his humble beginnings as an engineer, never imagining that his work would one day be part of something so important. Zalora shared tales of her people's long history, a history built on honor and protecting those in need. With each word, their bond grew stronger. They discovered that their journey was not only about finding answers, but also about growing and trusting each other. As the ship sailed through a field of sparkling stars, Marcus and Zalora looked ahead with hope. The path before them was filled with hidden dangers and unseen wonders. Yet together, they felt ready to face whatever lay in wait. Each star they passed reminded them that even in the darkest parts of space, there was light, courage, and the promise of a new beginning. Their journey had only just started, and every moment brought them closer to the secrets that would change their lives forever. The journey through space had been smooth so far, but Marcus knew that danger was never far away. As the ship traveled deeper into unknown regions, a heavy silence settled over the crew. Everyone sensed that something was about to happen. One evening, as Marcus worked in the ship's repair bay, the lights flickered for a brief moment. A small warning flashed on the screen in front of him. "System breach detected." His hands froze, and a chill ran down his spine. Someone had accessed the ship's internal network without permission. Marcus rushed to the control room, where Captain Zalora and the crew were discussing their next destination. He quickly explained what he had seen. Zalora's sharp eyes narrowed as she turned to the crew. "Someone is trying to sabotage our ship," she said, her voice calm but firm. A tense silence filled the room. Marcus looked at the faces around him. Could one of them be the traitor? He had grown to trust these people, but now doubt clouded his mind. The situation became worse when another warning flashed on the main screen. "Navigation system error. The ship had been pulled off course." "We need to act fast," Zalora said. "Find the source of the sabotage before it's too late." Marcus and Zalora worked together, tracing the breach to the lower decks. They moved quickly through the dimly lit corridors, their steps echoing against the metal floor. As they neared the storage area, a shadow moved. A figure in a dark cloak tried to slip away, but Zalora was faster. With a swift movement, she grabbed the traitor's wrist and pulled them into the light. It was one of the crew members, a nervous-looking alien with greenish skin and wide, guilty eyes. "Why?" Zalora demanded, her voice steady but cold. The traitor hesitated before speaking. I was offered a reward to send information about this ship's location," he admitted. "I didn't mean to cause harm, just to survive." Marcus felt anger rise in his chest. Their mission was already dangerous, and now betrayal had made it worse. But Zayla did not show anger. Instead, she let out a quiet sigh. "Survival is not an excuse for dishonor," she said. "You put us all at risk." The crew quickly secured the traitor in a locked chamber. With the immediate threat contained, Marcus and Zayla worked together to restore the ship's systems. Hours passed, but finally, the ship was back on course. Later, as they sat in the quiet of the control room, Marcus looked at Zayla and said, "I thought I could trust everyone here." Zayla gave him a small, knowing smile. "Trust is not given freely. It is tested," she said. "Tonight, we faced a trial, and we overcame it together." Marcus nodded, understanding her words. Their journey was far from over, but he knew one thing for sure. His trust in Zayla had only grown stronger. After dealing with the betrayal, Marcus and Zayla knew they had no time to waste. Their journey led them to a forgotten planet, one covered in thick clouds and endless ruins. The ancient civilization that once thrived here was long gone, leaving only silence and mystery behind. As their ship hovered over the surface, Marcus stared at the massive stone structures below. "This place looks dead," he muttered. Zayla stood beside him, her expression unreadable. "Sometimes the past is hidden beneath dust and time," she said, "but its secrets never truly disappear." With the ship's scanners leading the way, they found a large temple half buried under rock and debris. The entrance was cracked but still standing, as if waiting for someone to enter. Zayla and Marcus, along with a small team, made their way inside. The air was thick with dust, and every step echoed in the hollow halls. Strange symbols covered the walls, glowing faintly as if sensing their presence. Marcus ran his fingers over the carvings. "I recognize some of these shapes," he said. "They match the patterns on the device." Zayla's sharp eyes scanned the room. "Then we are in the right place," she said. "Let's find what we came for." Deeper inside, they discovered an old chamber. At the center, a pedestal held a strange metallic object, the missing piece of the device Marcus carried. His heart raced as he stepped forward, but Zayla held out a hand. "Wait," she warned. The moment she spoke, the ground rumbled. Hidden mechanisms inside the walls roared to life. From the shadows, ancient guardian machines emerged. Their metal bodies were rusted but still deadly, their glowing eyes locked onto the intruders. "Get back," Zayla shouted, drawing her weapon. The guardians attacked, moving with surprising speed. Marcus ducked behind a fallen pillar as energy blasts flew past him. The crew fought back, but the machines were strong and unrelenting. Thinking quickly, Marcus studied the symbols on the walls. He noticed a repeating pattern, one that matched the activation sequence of the device. "I think I can shut them down," he called out. Zayla covered him as he rushed to a nearby control panel. His hands worked fast, pressing symbols in a precise order. The guardians froze for a brief moment, then their glowing eyes dimmed. One by one, they powered down, returning to their dormant state. The chamber fell silent again. Marcus let out a deep breath. "That was close," he muttered. Zayla placed a hand on his shoulder. "You did well," she said, a rare note of admiration in her voice. With the danger past, Marcus carefully picked up the missing piece of the device. The metal was cool in his hands, and he felt a strange energy coursing through it. He looked at Zayla. "I think we just found what we were looking for." She nodded. "Now we must keep it safe. The real challenge begins." As they left the temple, Marcus couldn't shake the feeling that their discovery was only the beginning of something much bigger. Marcus and Captain Zayla left the ancient temple with the missing piece of the device, but their troubles were far from over. The moment they stepped outside, the sky darkened with the shadows of approaching ships. The enemy had found them. A deep hum filled the air as enemy dropships landed near the ruins. Armed mercenaries poured out, their weapons glowing with deadly energy. Marcus and Zayla exchanged a glance, There was no time to escape. They had to fight. Zelora activated her communicator. "All crew, prepare for battle," she ordered. From above, their ship's defense systems roared to life, sending blasts of energy toward the attackers. The battle had begun. Marcus took cover behind a fallen pillar as enemy soldiers advanced. He was not a fighter, but he knew technology. His mind worked fast, searching for a way to turn the battlefield to their advantage. "Marcus, stay close to me," Zelora said, moving with the precision of a trained warrior. Her shots were quick and precise, taking down enemy soldiers one by one. Marcus scanned the battlefield and noticed something: old defense turrets buried in the ruins. They were ancient, but if he could reactivate them, they might turn the tide of the battle. "I have an idea," he shouted over the noise. "Cover me." Zelora nodded and provided cover fire as Marcus sprinted toward the control panel near the ruins. He wiped the dust off the ancient controls and quickly worked to bring them online. The symbols were unfamiliar, but he recognized a few patterns from the device's blueprint. A deep rumble shook the ground as the ancient turrets powered up. Energy blasts fired from their barrels, striking down enemy soldiers. The mercenaries panicked as their advantage quickly turned into a retreat. Cheers erupted from Zelora's crew as the enemy ships began to flee. The battle was over. Marcus let out a sigh of relief as he leaned against the console. His hands were shaking, but he had done it. He had helped win the fight, not with weapons, but with his mind. Zelora walked up to him and placed a hand on his shoulder. "You fought well," she said, her voice filled with respect. "Without you, we would have lost." Marcus gave a small smile. "I just did what I could." She nodded. "And that is why we need you." With the battle won, the crew quickly gathered the missing piece of the device and returned to their ship. But Marcus knew that this was not the end. The enemy would not give up so easily. As their ship lifted off, Marcus stared at the stars, realizing something important. He was no longer just an ordinary engineer. He was part of something greater, a battle not just for survival, but for the future of many worlds. And with Zelora by his side, he knew he would face whatever came next. The battle was over, but Marcus knew their journey was far from finished. As the ship flew through the vast emptiness of space, he stood by a window, staring at the stars. His heart still pounded from the fight. He had never imagined himself in such a situation, facing enemies, solving ancient puzzles, and becoming part of something much bigger than himself. Captain Zelora walked up beside him. "You seem lost in thought," she said, her voice calm as always. Marcus let out a breath. "I never expected any of this," he admitted. "I was just an engineer. Now I'm part of some ancient mystery, running from mercenaries and fighting battles I never signed up for." Zelora studied him for a moment, then nodded. "That is how destiny works. It does not wait for us to be ready. It chooses us, whether we accept it or not." Marcus turned to look at her. "And what about you? You saved me, protected me. Why?" For the first time, Zelora hesitated. "Honor," she said simply. "But now, it is more than that." She glanced at the device they had recovered. "This technology is powerful. In the wrong hands, it could destroy civilizations. But in the right hands, it could change the future." Marcus felt the weight of her words. He was not a soldier nor a hero, but he had become part of something far greater than himself. And now he had a choice: go back to his simple life or embrace this new path. As if sensing his thoughts, Zelora placed a hand on his shoulder. "You are not alone, Marcus," she said. "Whatever comes next, we face it together." A beeping sound interrupted their moment. The ship's pilot called out, "Captain, we have incoming messages. A council of allied planets wants to meet with us." Zelora and Marcus exchanged a look. They both knew what this meant. The battle had drawn attention, and now powerful forces were watching. Some might be allies, but others would see them as a threat. "Prepare for arrival," Zelora commanded. As the ship changed course, Marcus realized something. His journey was no longer about survival. It was about purpose. He was not just an engineer anymore. He was part of a mission that could shape the future of entire worlds. And with Zailra by his side, he felt ready for whatever came next. Their destinies were now interwoven, forever connected by fate, battle, and trust. The ship docked at a massive space station, its metal hull shining under the station's bright lights. Marcus followed Zailra through the docking bay, feeling a mixture of hope and uncertainty. They were here to speak with the Council of Allied Planets, a powerful group that could determine the fate of the ancient device. As they stepped into the council chamber, the room's towering walls seemed to rise forever, covered with glowing symbols from dozens of civilizations. Representatives from different worlds sat at long tables, their faces a mix of curiosity, skepticism, and concern. Marcus had never seen so many alien species in one place. Zailra addressed the council with calm confidence. She spoke of the mercenaries, the battle, and the device's dangerous potential. She explained how Marcus had used his ingenuity to help protect it and why they needed the council's support. Marcus stood quietly beside her, feeling out of place among these experienced diplomats and leaders. The council members began to debate. Some argued that the device was too dangerous and should be destroyed. Others believed it could be studied and used for the benefit of all. The room grew tense as each side presented their case. Amid the heated discussions, Marcus noticed Zailra's calm demeanor. She did not interrupt or raise her voice. Instead, she listened carefully, waiting for the right moment to speak again. When she did, her words were simple but powerful. If we destroy this knowledge, we lose the chance to understand the past and prepare for the future. But if we use it recklessly, we risk repeating the mistakes of those who came before. We must find a balance, a path guided by wisdom and caution. The council fell silent, considering her words. Marcus stepped forward, surprising even himself. His voice was steady as he said, "I was an engineer, just someone trying to solve simple problems. I never thought I'd stand here in front of all of you, but I've seen what this device can do. It's not just a tool, it's a reminder. A reminder that we need to work together, not just as different species, but as people who care about the future." Zailra gave Marcus a small nod, her eyes showing a rare flicker of pride. After a long pause, the council leader, a tall alien with shimmering blue skin, spoke. "You both speak of caution and cooperation. We agree that the device must not be used lightly. We will create a protected facility, staffed by experts from across the galaxy. It will be studied under strict guidance, and its power will never be unleashed without the full approval of this council." A wave of relief washed over Marcus. The council had chosen the path of balance, just as Zailra had hoped. As they left the chamber, Marcus felt a strange sense of peace. The battles, the sacrifices, they all led to this moment. With Zailra by his side, he knew they had done the right thing. The council's decision marked the end of a long, dangerous journey. Marcus and Zailra watched from a viewing deck as their ship prepared to depart the massive station. The once threatening device, now safely locked in a secured research facility, no longer felt like a burden. It was no longer just a piece of ancient technology. It had become a symbol, one that reminded Marcus of all they had faced together. Zailra stood beside him, her expression calm but thoughtful. "You've changed, Marcus," she said. He turned to her, surprised. "Changed how?" "You're not just an engineer anymore," she said simply. "You've faced danger, made hard choices, and stood before leaders who could shape the future of entire worlds. You've proven yourself in ways that few ever have." Marcus laughed softly. "I never planned any of this. I just wanted to fix things, make things better. I never expected to be fighting battles or speaking to councils." "And yet you did," Zailra said. Her voice was quiet, but there was pride in her tone. Their ship lifted off, and Marcus felt the gentle hum of the engines under his feet. As they left the station behind, he stared at the stars. The galaxy was vast and filled with mysteries, but for the first time, he felt like he belonged in it. "I still don't understand why you helped me," he said after a moment. Zilra turned to him. "Because it was the right thing to do," she said simply. "In my culture, honor is not just about what you do for yourself. It's about what you do for others. You were in danger, and I had the power to save you. There was no other choice for me." Marcus nodded, understanding now that her actions had never been about personal gain or obligation. She had acted out of a deep sense of duty and morality, values that transcended species. The ship's crew moved about, busy with their tasks, but Marcus and Zalora stood quietly at the viewport. The silence was not awkward or heavy. It was the silence of two people who had shared something profound and lasting. "What happens now?" Marcus asked. "We return home," Zalora said. "But this is only the beginning. The galaxy is full of challenges, and there will always be those who need help." She looked at him, her eyes steady. "And now you know you can make a difference." Marcus smiled. "I think I'm ready for whatever comes next." Zalora nodded, and for the first time, a faint smile crossed her face. "Then we go forward together." As the ship soared through the endless stars, Marcus realized that their paths had truly become one. Zalora's honor, courage, and wisdom had changed his life, and he knew that he, too, had made a difference in hers. The universe was vast and unpredictable, but together they faced it with hope, trust, and the strength to meet whatever lay ahead.